Right, we're back with another guest, which is going to be Carrick's here, who, as I said before the break, is an Australian, so he's doing the English language stream of VCS. But actually, as I talked about with earlier on the episode with Monty, the joke is like, actually, even though we had Nymera there with the whole DFM thing, it actually was VCS that was always the small region that had the upset potential. In fact, I've even said to Monty on some of the past years that I think that is the part that everyone forgets about with the whole like COVID, not everyone could travel thing. The real tragedy is VCS were the ones who got the short end every time. That they had to miss like 1 billion worlds and MSIs, right? So they've only played the odd one over the last few years. So I'm actually quite interested to know about the region myself because, like we say, part of what was cool I always thought about VCS is it's obviously the whole like upset potential came from stylistic choices. This was the region that would do crazy things like do a lane swap when there isn't a lane swap meta, or do some crazy pick that no one else is willing to do, and sort of essentially cheese. And like we don't often use that term in League more often now, Monty, because even people's version of cheese is more like you just get an early lane or something. They actually tried real cheese. We actually try like StarCraft, like a one-off crazy strat at the beginning where you either just win the game or you lose outright. Like I always thought if you're an underdog, that's a kind of a cool way to play. Like that means people have a reason to watch you. So Carricks, what is the current state of VCS? Like where is this region at in this sense? Like should we actually be like expecting something internationally this time?
We are a battered and bruised region. However, that's our comfort zone. That is our comfort zone.
Okay. It's like Rocky,
yeah, exactly. We're Rocky. We had like MSI was, the halfway point of the movie where now we've run up the stairs, we've had the crowd, all of that, and we're ready to go. Just to touch on what you were saying with the events that we missed, because I do want to highlight that is a real tragedy because it wasn't Garm. Garm was not going to be the team. I think they would have been the second seed both times, but they would not have been the first seed. It would have been Team Flash. And I still think that 2020 Flash is probably the best team Vietnam's ever had. Did not get to go to international. They qualified to 2 international events and did not get to attend either of them, which I think is a real tragedy. So I just want to sort of just shout that out, just because these players, like, unfortunately, most of them have fallen off.
I think some people are watching, which is surprising.
So we're never going to really see them, but I do just want to shout that out as a bit of VCS.
Essentially, press F. Press F for Flash.
Griff, I'm Venus is this guy.
Pretty much, yeah. And also, I see a few people in chat. I do have a man behind me. Sorry if he makes noise.
Sorry, we're used to having bird sounds on this show for some reason. It can't possibly be as bad as the Peter Dunn episode with 1,000 birds.
Mad.
So don't worry about it.
Actually, we did have an episode. Was it MSI? Whatever tournament it was, might be Worlds last year. Peter Dunn was on like holiday somewhere, and no joke, there actually was like a parakeet or something that just kept like making a sound the whole time outside the window. And it was almost like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is a joke. But it was real, apparently. It was real.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
So let's start here. GAM is again the #1 team coming out of Vietnam. People will recognize Levi from this roster, who played on 100 Thieves, played on JG.
The world's a joke. He played the LPL, he played LCN, he played everywhere apparently. Apparently, yeah, just did the whole world tour. Fair play.
So for GAM, who introduced us to the rest of this roster? Because I guess we've seen Catty at international events before, I believe.
Yeah, you've seen Cardi a couple of times, and I'm sure you didn't like what you saw. He has, he's always, the VCS has an issue where the mid lane talent pool is really shallow. There's maybe 2 actual good mid laners. So Carti never gets pushed. He's sort of able to just coast and be like, oh yeah, he goes even in lane. Maybe he'll win lanes against the other decent mid laners. But then you've got Levi as your jungler. You don't need to win lane. He's just gonna absolutely cruise. So Cardi never gets pushed, and then he came to international competition and just got folded in half. He was a massive weakness at MSI. Don't get me wrong, like the guy, think he's a good player, but just got absolutely folded and was a huge weakness for Garm at MSI. I do think he has started picking up a little bit. But still, if you're going to say there's a weakness on Garm, it has to be Karti. Looking down at the bot lane, it's actually quite interesting because for most of the split, we had Slater and Zin. Slater, just to start there, he is a superstar of the VCS. He has pretty much eternally been like the unsung hero. He was this guy that was a 5-star player, absolutely killed people, but just never actually won the league. So he never went
so
international.
fucking dead.
He was actually on that Flash roster I was talking about, so he
right.
qualified. He qualified twice, but he didn't get to go. He's a lights out ADC for the VCS. He is untested internationally, if you want to preface it, but he is very, very good.
How come we didn't see him at MSI?
He wasn't on the team.
Yeah, he joined the team later. Why did he switch rosters?
So he was playing for SBTC. They were meant to sort of be the Garm challengers. That's what they were built up to be. They tried to put together the best superstar roster you can without using Garm players, which is hard. But, you know, they took them to the finals.
Well, it's not the worst. At least they didn't skip camps, I guess.
And then I think Garm, they had this guy named Style, who you probably remember from MSI. He was okay as an ADC. I still think he gets more hate than he really deserves. I don't think he was the problem. But he wasn't great internationally. And then they said, look, Style, you've had a couple chances internationally. You haven't done it. And Slater's contract's up. So they just waved a bag of money at Slater, and he came over from SBTC, and they had him. So he's really good. The interesting part is he had Zin. Zin is, again, he's like he's for the BB. Doesn't bode well internationally. He's been to Worlds a couple of times. He was there in 2019, then he missed a couple of years, and then he was at MSI, the last one. But SBTC had Colette. Who was the one that was meant to go to TSM a few years ago. They ended up getting Sword Art instead. He's a good support. He's one of, if not the most accomplished support in the VCS. I think he is in terms of titles. He's a really incredible player. But he was on SBTC, but then SBTC, it turned out they'd been match fixing. So the org got banned. The org got banned. They played like one game in spring. But they cleared Paulette of any wrongdoing. They said that, look, the team's been doing this, but Paulette has had nothing to do with it. He is a free man. You can go join another team. And Garm was like, oh, you're free right before playoffs, are you? And you're the best support in the league that we can get. Sure, come on in. So in playoffs, I think he was okay. But he had really just reintegrated into the team. Like he'd been on the team for like a week, and then playoff starts and he's playing. I think now that he's actually been back in the team for a little while, I think he's a really good support. Slater, Paulette were the bot lane of that Flash that I mentioned. That was the bot lane. They are now just on Garm. I think they're the best bot lane in the VCS. And I don't think it's particularly close. So yeah, it's great. And then on the top lane is my personal favorite VCS player, a player I think it's criminal that he's actually still in Vietnam. I think it actually shows that scouts aren't doing their job because he should be in the LDL or he should have gone to the LCS a couple of years ago. You could buy him for a bag of chips. Is Kiai. This guy is an absolute freak. He used to be like the very quintessential Vietnamese top laner where he's just like, I'm just going to get 4 solo kills a game. I'm just going to monster my lane opponent. You can't stop me. I'm 50 CS up. I'm an absolute juggernaut. But then eventually, because that doesn't really work internationally, because going up against a different caliber of top laner. But he just was like, okay, I'll play tanks. He can do both. He really is sort of a Swiss Army knife. In that whatever his team needs him on, he will do it, and I can't remember the last time he lost it. So Kiaya, as I said, I think he's my favorite VCS player. I think it's a crime that he hasn't been scouted. And if you're going to watch one player on Garm, it's definitely Kiaya.
So it sounds like what you're saying is that this roster was massively upgraded coming from spring into summer. Because I think a lot of people will think back to MSI and say, oh, well, we had all this hype for the Vietnamese team. They get bopped by Golden Guardians, and then they somehow lose to an LLA team, which was
embarrassing.
Quite embarrassing, I would say. Are the hopes better this time for GUM in terms of their performance at international event?
So it's definitely better than MSI. I definitely still don't think, LLA is something actually the better region. I do think they're improving from what I've seen. I don't want to insult them. But I still think Vietnam's a better region. I think if you go back a couple of years to sort of the era Thorin you were talking about, I think the mentality was like, you've got VCS and PCS who are 5th and 6th. PCS is probably 5th, VCS is 6th, but it's really close, you know, one tournament could go either way. And then you're not better than NA, obviously, but you're like, you could take a game off them. You could potentially take a series. It'd be an upset, but it's imaginable. I don't think we see it that way anymore. I think PCS is clearly 5th. I think it would be a big upset to beat an NA, and we really need to hold off your CBLOLs. I think CBLOLs in particular, I think Loud actually look quite good, though I'm not an expert on them. So I really think this Worlds, because again, the format in play-ins is hard. Getting out of play-ins is really difficult if you're not
Yes.
the EULCS.
What he means is there's no BO1s. You basically play a bunch of BO3s into like actual BO5 series, so you can't sort of fluke it. You actually usually have to be the better team, right? And if at the moment it sounds like you're saying actually they're going to be one of the sort of bottom teams in the play-in, right?
I think they should be. I think we should be the 6th best region. That's what I'm saying. I think we are firmly the 6th best region. Okay. And we need to defend that because I think the issue with MSI, and I do think the community has overreacted to it, particularly within the English-speaking VCS community. It's been a massive overreaction to it, but losing to LLA is
as in, like, do they think there's no?
Oh, the region's dead. We're the worst region in the world. We're not going to win a game. Ridiculous. I think we are still the 6th best region. We need to show that. I think if we bomb out of this world, I'm really worried for the health of this region. We get to send 2 seeds. I think if we bomb out of that world, we haven't earned that. Frankly, we don't deserve to send 2 seeds if we're bombing out of 2 events in a row. But you know, I do think we can maintain that. I do think we'll beat the likes of CBLOL, and if we can put up a fight against your PCS, your NA, I'd be really happy with that. But I don't necessarily favour us beating them.
Here's the thing, Monty. That's actually pretty reasonable because usually, I mean, Nine Area himself did it. They just drink the greatest, like the joke is they have like a yard of ale of copium that they just like. I think it's possible. I think they could do it. And then they like convolute.
I mean, I can put that hat on if you'd like. I can come up with game plans.
Okay.
That's whatever, dude. I just didn't need to use flash, I guess. Like, whatever.
That I normally would be. So I don't.
So, to be fair, it's already right there in the name, isn't it? All you need to know is the GAM plan. What's the GAM plan? How did they do it? How did they win the game? What did they... By the way, is the other VCS team any good? We should have asked that, to be fair. I just thought there was one, right? So,
so they're all right. I think Wales is okay. They've got a couple of players that have never gone internationally, which can mean a lot of things. You never know what will happen. Their star player is this guy named Glory, their mid laner. Never got international, and he's a little bit streaky. So if he hits if they somehow like get smashed in their first match, he might just wane out, and then they're in a lot of trouble. But they're okay. I don't. Look, they're not gonna beat PCS too, but if they're up against an LLA, maybe if they catch Loud somewhere on a bad day, or the LJL, I think that's actually how the matchup will go. If DFM loses to CFO, I think they lose to Team Wales because Team Wales is gonna lose to either GG or BDS. I'm not that delusional.
Okay, fair enough.
Is he top or what?
Beat DFM. We've had a few sort of scrim.
I'm not even tracking him, so I don't even know.
We want to buy into scrim bucks, but apparently they are kind of bodying the LJL, but that's
we do want to buy into scrim bucks right before Worlds. That's definitely.
I mean, he's not going bot, so.
That's all we've got, man.
Right, man.
To be fair, that would actually be sort of like a revenge thing, wouldn't it? What we're actually beating off the Japanese. Fair enough.
The revenge of the whale.
To be fair, there's actually 2 layers of that because they're probably playing against the Americans in round 1. So
there you go. Okay.
So who knows? Maybe it'll work out. One thing I also just want to add as a bit of an added, this worries me, is these GUM and Wales were sort of a composite team for the Asia Games. Right. Mickey Mouse tournament.
I'm farming so bad this game.
Just sent the 3rd place team
so it was, what was it? It was Glory,
mid laner? Yeah, and then it was just pretty much all. I think Artemis also played ADC. They sort of swapped between Glory and Carti, and Artemis played ADC most of the time. Artemis also, he is a hot guy. I don't want to undersell him just because he is on the worst team. He's fantastic. I think until probably this split, I would have said he was a better ADC than Slater, but I think Slater had a really good summer. But yeah, the Asia Games, I think, has really hurt them. I'm pretty sure they're.
I got too greedy.
still-
It's my bad.
Maybe they got there today. They're still not in Korea. They have
The jet
apparently
lag
not
isn't
been.
Do I
too
just
bad.
become a virgin and play Blade of Throne King maybe? Yeah, I'll just do it.
It's not terrible.
No,
Yeah, it's not so much the jet lag as
it's
it's
not
like.
it's not worth it maybe.
I really want them.
Is there a reason they didn't go until recently? Did they have something
Asia
open
Games.
up schedule-wise?
What
Ah, see,
we've
right.
we've sort of heard that it's like obviously they needed to send some people to Asia Games, and then the rest of the players with money. They just kind of don't have the
fair
money.
enough.
Because there's another bit of a quirk with the VCS is that they can't play Chaos Solids.
I'm just not,
except
I'm
around
just not,
international events, assuming it's in Korea. There
I'm
was
just
an
not that guy.
incident probably about a year ago now. I'm sure someone can fact check me on exactly when it was. It was around that time where there was like Faker coming out and being like, people are so toxic in my
Oh,
Solid
I know what you mean,
Is
yeah.
it? And this one player who deserves the punishment he got, and Div Kid was being a little shit in the game. And he got banned, and then Riot KR was like, we're banning the region.
I mean,
What? You're
wasn't it-
all banned.
Wasn't it like a mix of two
Yeah.
things? One, it was like foreign non-Korean players, obviously it's not because
Yeah.
and then the other one was like one tricks or something. Wasn't it something like that?
Yeah.
Complained about?
It was something like that. Obviously, I don't think the one trick part applied
No,
to
no,
like
fair
Div Kid.
enough.
Yeah. But I think it was
Something
there was a
similar,
lot.
it's just for the like I've heard even the Chinese players sort of have to like go on someone else's account now to play on the Korean server. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad. If people don't know, especially like in the last 5-6 years, like everyone was play with high ping and it's just the best. It's all lucky, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Does
that's
that
actually
actually, do you think it actually harms
yeah.
the level of play?
Oh, 100% massively. Because like the Garth players were no slouches.
What a pussy dude. They don't want to play.
Kiaya, Dia1, their former mid laner, before this all happened, they were top 10 in Challenger, like pretty consistently. They would show up all the time in top 10 KR Challenger. They were really good. And we've spoken to their coach. I'm quite good friends with their coach, Kante, and he's just like, yeah, this hurts. We can't practice in that environment. The
Finally.
Vietnam server is
Finally, the guy plays the game.
apparently, and they just can't get this practice. And I feel as well.
And he dies just when it's 14 minutes, so I can't even get played. So,
But now you can't go with chaos.
I imagine.
It's
The
huge.
challenge team's still good though.
Yeah, especially for playstyle stuff, because the VCS is just fight.
Right.
This is something I sort of worry about. Is like you can see if you watch.
Eight to 1. Why does Riot always like to see the blind monk like super propped up, you know, like on steroids with LP with buffs? I just don't get the idea. Like I don't get that concept. I will vehicle train. Okay, well, no, that's not what I meant. I should have probably held my Q3. I didn't expect him to all in there. My plan was to do a really bad trade. And I'm kind of surprised that he's still full HP. I mean, I guess he hit a whole vinyl. Yeah. I had a different plan, but I guess I can just run it. It's whatever. But yeah, baby. Oh yeah, baby. crazy if survives there. He just presses R and then just jumps away and everything. Like, I'm Kench OP, I guess. He probably would have W again, so it's not like I could have done anything special there. I'm guessing Fiora is going top again. No, she's not. Brand is OP in these situations. I'm glad that Kassadin got the shutdown. She used W and she walked up. I would have probably died if they committed to killing me, but I don't think. I mean, it didn't seem like they really cared about that. Okay, my bad. That was close. So I had a 200 gold shutdown there, just so you guys know. I had a 200 gold shutdown there, and somehow I should have outplayed that. And she pressed Q, W, R, and then she pressed Q to finish me off. So, I don't know. Can someone explain like what I should have done differently? I mean, maybe I should have just insta R and like flip flop, and maybe she doesn't have flash, and I hit it. I don't. It's fucking disgusting. What a disgusting champ. I love one-shot champs. So skilled, so fun to play versus. I die in like 1 second. So fun to die in 1 second. Feel like there's a lot I can do then. So fucking disgusting of a champ. Like, why the fuck? Like, it's so overbuffed. It's still not addressed, by the way. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, it's the same issue. Like, even if I built Hullbreaker, it would be the same issue. Like, it would still persist. Okay. What? Off my HP? In 1Q? I don't think you should do that, bruh. Okay, Tom Kench. Mr. Tom. I'm probably dead here. Oh, he hit his second kill. But Senna did so much damage though. Was she even in the range? Like... I'm guessing they're giving it up. I'm gonna lose this tower. I'm glad that fucking ult hit. She didn't use W. Congrats, Kassadin. I mean, Kassadin playing fine. Like, he didn't die much in lane. He was chilling. GT? What does that mean? Dun, dun, dun. Bro, my hands are so cold. Holy shit. Good try. Oh. I'm familiar with NT, a nice try, but not the GT. That one I'm not familiar with. Do you not have a heat to warm up your hands? I mean, I do have a heater, but the thing is the electricity in my country is quite expensive. Electricity prices. Sorry about that sound, guys. It's my headset. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's low power. I have a wireless headset, you know? I'm gonna take my headset off meanwhile. It's charging.